Iraq and Afghanistan, that it definitely needs to raise the issue of 9/11.
Your Honor, you had your hand up.
The last one. Richard Clark, the former White House, recently told French-German television that CIA was aware about the imminent attack September 11.
Could you move the microphone closer?
But
Thank you.
he told that the White House was not informed. I ask you, do you think that CIA could have hacked in this way without the knowledge of the United States administration?
I don't think so. The CIA is the only agency in the intelligence apparatus that reports directly to the White House. All the other agencies are part of it, like the Justice Department or some other Department of Defense. CIA goes directly to the president, which itself is a scary idea.
It is a lie, big lie.
So I think, well, you know, to be frank, when I read Richard Clark's opinion, I assumed that, yeah, he was getting onto something about the head of the CIA being aware that there were people in the United States that were planning to hijack planes and fly them into buildings. But I thought it was what Woodward and Bernstein called a limited hangout. This is where you fess up to something, but it's only to keep from getting at something a whole lot worse. And what they're saying is, well, yeah, the CIA, they knew about it, they didn't tell the White House. Well, worse may be that the White House knew. Worse may be, not only did the White House know, this was part of a much larger operation. That was, the way some of the crimes in Watergate were described is, they wouldn't say, go do this. They wouldn't say, go break into this guy's office. They would say, you know, if we just knew about Ellsberg's psychiatric problems, we really need to find out about things. And then they'd be off and running. So I think that there's probably these kind of curious communications, and that may be what Clark is referring to. But he's giving a very limited version of what is more likely the possibility.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We just have time for maybe one more question. Professor Johnson?
What are the excuses for failure to take action on 9/11 is well, kind of an excuse of malfeasance or failure to do what is expected to be done. Can the failure to take action that is expected be regarded as a scam?
Yes. I think of what I would like us to do is think about public officials having an obligation to the state, to us, to the Constitution. They swear an oath. They swear an oath to uphold the Constitution. And this has broad implications. The tendency to look at narrow, defined responsibilities is, I think, a mistake. I think that we need to look at, you need to be proactive, you need to be aggressive in handling your responsibilities. You can't say, oh, I didn't think about that. Well, you should have thought about it. And that's, you know, in any other area of life, that would be the attitude you have. If your little children, when they don't put their clothes away, you don't let them get away with, oh, I didn't think about that. You say, well, you better think about it. If you don't, you're going to be punished for it. And we've got to begin to think about our own leaders in a much more aggressive, a much more demanding way.
The last one.
Yes, sir. Your Honor.
Do you think that the Secret Service often are used by the political power in order to commit this state crime against democracy?
Yes.
And do you think that an obstacle to the search for truth could be the state secret or office secret, which the US administration several times raised to the Commission for September 11?
Yes. The question was, does the secrecy prevent us from getting at these issues, and do the politicians use these apparatus for political and self-serving purposes? I'll leave you with a final thought. Howard Hunt was told by Charles Colson to prepare a plan to assassinate Jack Anderson, a newspaper reporter, a very controversial newspaper. Howard Hunt and G. Gordon Liddy put that plan together. They were ready to do it. They viewed it as perfectly lawful. They considered Jack Anderson a traitor for publishing classified information in the newspaper, and thought it was fine to go ahead and extrajudiciously kill him. Now, the attack was called off, but what that tells you is that this apparatus is got a very strange way of thinking, and they follow orders, and the politicians are the ones that are in charge. So I don't think we have a clue. Look, what we've got are 15 to 20 examples where we're pretty sure we know what happened. How many things do you think we don't know about? I think a lot. And that's part of what we've got to do until we start studying this, calculating probabilities, searching for connections between individuals at the times of these crimes. Part of what science does is it invents observation methods, the telescope, the microscope. I want to devise a truth detecting device that we can run political speeches through and figure out when they're lying. Things like that. That's what we need. We need a science that really gets on these guys. Hey, thank y'all very much.
Thank you for your testimony, Professor deHaven-Smith. Thank you, panelists, for your probing questions. These hearings are now adjourned until 1 p.m. I would ask that audience members return to their places in the room several minutes before 1 p.m. so that we may proceed on time with the afternoon sessions. Thank you. There's a question about where does the audience eat? I'm new to Toronto myself. Is there someone who could speak more closely about this? Are there places nearby that people can all over? So which streets would you recommend people walk out on? Jarvis? Jarvis and all around the Young Street as well? Okay.